But we really don't care about Advaita. We really don't care about a specific tradition. Really, we're on a spiritual path. We're seeking spiritual answers. We're trying to figure out what this enlightenment thing is all about. Trying to figure out how do we end suffering. We're trying to figure out what we really are. And that really is the core question. What am I? Because that central character is the one who suffers. That central character is the one that wants to know what this is all about. The one that wants a better life. This me. What's in it for me? So that's really the core question. What am I? So Advaita is just another tradition. Advaita means not two. One without a second. The one without a second is very clear. There is only one. But the spiritual search is a denial of that. It says, I am separate. I am suffering. And I need to find the answers. So the very search itself is a direct denial of this one without a second. So we start out on this path. Maybe we meditate, read a lot of books, visit websites and blogs. Maybe we visit classes like this one. And we're really wanting to know what this is all about. We're really wanting to get something. But in this, we are totally missing the point. We'll forever be seeking because there is no answer. Any answer found can only be more illusion, can only be still that one without a second. So what answer can we possibly find? The only thing that we can do is be brutally honest, be totally open, see that we've built our life on concepts and words and beliefs. Start looking at these beliefs that we have and be open to setting those aside for a moment. Stop seeing the world through this filter and just be open to whatever happens, whatever arises, whatever resonates. So with that, we actually begin the path. But it's not a path that leads somewhere. It's a path to seeing what's already there. Because it's not the truth of what you might become. It's the truth of what you are. What you are now. But that seems clouded over with beliefs, with ideas we have about ourselves, with identifications that we place on all sorts of things. First of all, this body and this mind. We place that identification with the story memories and imagination. We place that identification with cars and jobs and relationships. We place that identification with characteristics of the body, with deficiencies of the body. All these things we identify with. And this is a veil of illusion over what you really are. So we just look at what is present right now. Because right now is the only place that we can ever look. If we look into the past or if we look into the future, we're looking into thoughts about it. We can only see this here now. And this here now, the only thing that we know for sure, unless we conceptualize, is that experiencing is happening. We're experiencing things. The sound of waves. We're experiencing the sound of the voice. We're experiencing the vision of this body, the feeling of thoughts, the sensation of the arm or the sensation of the legs, the sensation of the rising and falling of the breath. Every single thing that we know, every single thing that we've ever known has only come to us in this experiencing. So we simply stop and take a look at that. Right now, everything that you know is happening in this perception. Without fail, everything you know, the voice, the waves, the body, the thoughts, these are perceptions, sensations, experiences. And really let that sink in. Really notice that. The mind's habit is to gloss over this. It must be something else. It must be something more. Within this experiencing, there has to be a special state come. There has to be a fantastic, extraordinary state of bliss. So in that anticipation and expectation, we miss that all we can ever know is what is immediately experienced in the immediacy of this very moment. That's it. And afterwards we conceptualize the experience. We assign ownership. We talk about a me. We talk about an object of experience. That's conceptual. The only thing we know without conceptualizing is that experiencing is happening. It's very simple. Very direct. Immediate. So this experiencing is without an experiencer. Because the idea of an experiencer, the idea of a me, is itself an experience. It comes in that experiencing. It comes as an idea. How else would you know it? It comes as a thought, like a vague cloud of uncertainty about what we are, as a mental image made up of memory and imagination. It's an experience. The me is an experience. Yet that experiencing, that pure seeing, that pure knowing, that is evident, that is obvious. We can't put a concept on that. We don't need to. It's already there. It's obvious. So rest in that experiencing. See that everything you know happens right now in that experiencing. We sense the sound of the waves. But I had to conceptualize. I had to use a concept to talk about the sound of the waves. But I didn't need to do that. Because the sound of the waves are self-evident. They're automatically, effortlessly arising, reflecting in this experiencing, in this pure seeing. This voice. It takes no effort to experience this voice. When we call it a voice, and then we call it Randall's voice, and then we say, I am hearing a voice, we've gone way into conceptualization about it. We miss the pure experiencing. And that experiencing is like a presence. It's always there. It has no form or shape. It's not an object, or else it would be another experience. It is the experiencing itself. And that's what you are. Pure, naked experiencing, in which all the experiences come and go, in which the concepts about them come and go. That's what we mean when we say, I am. Who is hearing? I am. We place that I amness on the body-mind, and that's the false identification. That I am is that sense of presence, of experiencing. And that is the core of the message of Advaita, of Zen, all the other non-dual traditions. This experiencing, this intelligence, this is that one without a second. It's an activity, something going on right now. It's obvious. It's not difficult, it's impossible to avoid. It's an activity that's going on. An energy, an aliveness. And that is a activity of knowing, of perceiving, an activity of experiencing. And that is going on now. And in that, everything else happens. The body happens. The thoughts happen. The concepts about this and that. The words. All of that can only be known in one way, and that is through this activity of knowing. And that never changes. This body has changed constantly. Even the original cell, the combination of the sperm and the ovum, that me, that would have been that me. But that cell is gone. The whole body replaces itself entirely, down to the last cell, every 10 years or so. You can't be that body. And those thoughts, the question came up about what are thoughts? The thoughts are a function of the body. Thousands and millions of neurons firing in complex patterns. Neurons fire. Are you doing that? Are you authoring these thoughts? Or are they just appearing? If we don't tell ourselves a story, if we don't imagine, if we don't make up stuff, are you really authoring those thoughts? And it's not a question that expects an answer. It's an invitation to look for yourself. The activity of knowing is going on right now. Hearing this voice. The minute that we talk about it, we conceptualize it. The only true path is witnessing. All paths lead to witnessing. If we're meditating, that's witnessing. That's watching the breath. That's watching the thoughts. That's listening to the sounds. That's watching the thoughts as they imagine all of these things, these concepts. All paths lead eventually to witnessing. So we just stay with witnessing. We just watch what's coming and going. And we watch the thoughts. And in those thoughts we see the concept coming up about me. We see the belief, this image, this thought story that is created out of memory and imagination. We see that thought come and go. We see all of these concepts about what we are, about what we believe. We see them come and go. We notice this body. We notice the changes of the body. Pure witnessing. So as we're noticing these, it might dawn on us. It might hit us like a ton of bricks or gently tap us on the shoulder. But the question comes, who is the witness? If I'm watching the thoughts, I'm not the thoughts. If I'm watching this body, I'm not the body. If I'm watching this idea of a me, then that's not what I am. I'm simply the witness. But the witness doesn't appear. The witness doesn't show up as an object. The witness is always there, watching that which comes and goes. Prior to it, like a container in which all of this is happening. And that witness doesn't change simply because it doesn't have any attributes or characteristics. Because those attributes and characteristics are what we identify with. But this witness has no characteristics. It is the activity of looking, watching, seeing. So we simply rest in this witnessing, and we watch everything come and go. And we see that this witnessing is almost a presence. We know this. We already know this. We already are this. This is already happening. So if thoughts are coming and going right now, those thoughts might contain content about spirituality or enlightenment or Advaita. They might be frustrating thoughts, might be happy thoughts. But without fail, without exception, something is seeing the thoughts right now. Right this very instant, something is seeing those thoughts. Something is aware of that body. And that knowing has always been with us. And that knowing has never changed. We talk about suffering. That suffering requires a self-center, requires someone who suffers. But we see in witnessing that that someone who is the receiver or the sufferer is observed, witnessed. That someone who suffers is an object in witnessing, but the witnessing doesn't suffer. So whatever happens, that's witnessed. And the witnessing is never touched. Just like the mirror reflects but is not affected by the reflection. It doesn't matter what the reflection is. It could be a sunrise in a field of flowers, or it could be a war. That mirror reflects it equally, without judgment, without attachment to one or the other, without even making any differentiation. So all paths lead to witnessing. Rest in that witness. Watch what's going on. And as Jason and Derek said, we see that that which arises can't be what we are. So eventually we negate every bit of it. We negate every bit of it, including this concept of me. We see how ludicrous that idea is. We see the foundation of that because we're just watching. We see it. We see the mechanism at work. Otherwise, we're caught in it. All of our attention is focused on that me. What can I get? What can I do? What can I become? We're focused in it. We don't notice the mechanism that is the foundation of that. We go backwards and forwards from memory to imagination constantly in the creation of this picture of me. But if we simply rest in witnessing, we see this mechanism at work. And once we see it, we're free of it. Once we see it at work, then we realize, wow, that's a joke. It's a big joke. This idea of me is a big joke. It's just something that we've always been told. And we've believed it, and we focused on that. And we tried for our whole lives to create this beautiful picture of me, this perfect picture of me. Exactly the way I want it. But it never works. Something's not right. There's always something. So rest in that witnessing. Watch everything come and go. Just notice it. And already we find that we're beyond it. We find that we're free of it. We see how it works. We find that we are no thing, nothing perceivable or conceivable, formless, still, silent, unshakable. That witnessing is rock solid. Just notice that. Remain as the witness.